Today I got 12 quick and easy Christmas decorations for you to make. There is one that's got a bit of sewing, so it may take you a little longer, but it's such fun, I included it anyway. Well, I've got so many things to show you today, so no time for chatting. Let's get on with crafting. I'm going to use these popsicle sticks, and they're a bit pale, so I've got this brown felt pen to darken them up. This is so much quicker than painting. There's virtually no drying time at all. A lot less messy, even though I still seem to get covered in it. I'm not going to paint the backs because they're going to be stuck to fabric, so you won't even see them. And with a quick and easy craft, anything to save time is good in my books. And I think that's as good as a wood stain. You don't have to use a pro marker. You can use a cheap felt pen. It doesn't matter. A marker. I've got this fabric that is cut to the width of a cocktail. It's not a cocktail stick, is it? A popsicle stick. So I'm going to glue that in place. I think the easiest way to put the glue is onto the stick rather than onto the hessian, because I've done that before and glued my hessian to my cutting mat. Pop it in place. And then trim the edge. Like that. I've got an embellishment that's going on here, and if I put it in place ready, then I know I'm not going to cut my piece of fabric too short. So a little run of hot glue up the back. Place it on the hessian. Lift it up because a little bit of hot glue is coming through the hessian. Then get your other lollipop stick or popsicle stick, and you're going to be gluing that on the bottom. I don't think I'm going to trim this off. I think I'll cut it there. Let's see if this works. I'm having a moment of inspiration. Get my pokey thing. Everybody needs a pokey thing. So much easier than trying to use your fingers to pull out little edges for fraying. Yes, I like it with a little bit of frayed bits on the bottom too. A little bit of frayed bits. That's not the most intelligible sentence in the world, is it? Now I'm going to take some of my twine and furl the end a little bit. A little bit of glue. On it goes. On with your finger protector, unless you have asbestos fingers. Figure out how long you want this to be. Chop it off again, unfurl it. You don't have to do this, but I think it'll stick a bit better. Now it is important to make sure this is the same width from both sides, so using the Caroline Johnson incredibly unsuccessful way of measuring, I'll use my finger about there. I'm not a big measurer. I hate measuring. I never seem to get it right anyway. Put that on there. And there you've got yourself your decoration. There's a shame there's a bit of a bump in that burlap. I don't know why, but it'll be fine. And just to finish it off, I'm going to put a few little gold stars in the sky. One there. Oh dear, stars don't like hot glue. I've never hot glued stars on before. I just realised they don't like it. So I would advise you not to use hot glue. Not unless you want little sticky out lumpy bits like that. Oh well. Look at that. I love it. I think it's so simple, so quick and easy. Oh, let's get on with the next one. I've got this heart-shaped bauble, which I'm going to pull the end off. I've got a tree, and I'm going to take the end off that. Fill the end with some hot glue and pop the tree in. And then I'm going to take this cap that was on the end of the bauble and put it on the end of the tree. Careful, it squirts out of the holes in the top and burns your fingers. And now make a really pretty glittery bow using a pipe cleaner. Make it into a bow shape and tighten the back. So easy to do this, you don't even end up tying a knot. And glue it into place, covering the join. Then add a pearl to hide the pipe cleaner. And look at that. That is looking so lovely. And when you think how long that took to make, if you blinked, you missed it. And I just love it. And you can put more embellishments on if you want to. You can add some little pearls onto the tree. You can decorate your little bottom bauble. I think that is gorgeous. I forgot to turn my camera on, so I'm going to show you this one and tell you how I made it. I got a long pine cone. I got this from France a few years ago. It fell off the tree and I brought it home. So I cut the top bit off, which is this bit here. I just snapped it off. Then I added a hanging loop to the top and then made a bow. I'll show you how I made the bow. Just make a sort of bow shape like that, and then I tied it with the pipe cleaner there, trimmed the edges, glued it into place, and then put this embellishment on the top to hide the join. And that was it. You can add more snow-like effect on it if you wanted to. You could put some glitter, just a bit of white paint. I love the natural look. I think the brown, red and green is beautiful, and the hanger actually goes quite well with it. I did mention when I wasn't filming that I do prefer to either put a twine or a thin lace or perhaps cotton as a hanger rather than ribbon. Ribbon is lovely and I do use it sometimes, but it isn't as easy to hang your decorations when you use ribbon. Right, so that was very quick because I only showed it you. We better get on with the next one. This Christmas decoration, I thought we'd make a star. So I got a star shape made of cardboard and I'm going to put it down on top of this gingham fabric. This will make a lovely country style star for your tree. And sometimes if you're lucky you can manage to squash the star next door to the other one because there are ins and outs, and put the outy bit in the inny bit and save you some fabric. And then, yep, you've guessed it, cut them out. When I'm cutting a rounded star, I always find it easier to chop straight to the edge and then round the corner. Just makes it a little bit easier. I don't know why. It works for me. Ta-da! Put your stars together with the pencil sides inward because it's very difficult not to leave a little bit of pencil showing. So always make sure that your pencil marks are on the inside. If you're not using a double-sided fabric like me, then make sure you do the drawing on the back of the fabric. If your stars don't match up, then it's probably that your pattern isn't completely, I don't know if it would be symmetrical because of the star shape, but it isn't quite matched up. So I've had to make sure I got the right points, joined with the right points to make this all line up. Out with some embroidery floss on a needle, put a knot in the end, wrap it round your finger, roll it, hold the knot and pull tight. Go between two of the arms of the stars and between the two layers of fabric and poke your embroidery floss through. I think I've overdone it here. I didn't want to run out, so I got plenty, but I think I've sort of got enough to sew 3 stars, but we'll find out. And then in from the edge, I don't know, about 1/2 centimetre, whatever looks good to you, do what they call a running stitch, which is one of the most basic stitches. I think it is the most basic stitches, which is just in and out, and then in and out. So now I've sewn most of the way around, but don't sew this last little bit here. Get your wadding. As usual, I'm using the inside of a cushion that I picked up for 50p at the thrift store. A brilliant way to get cheap wadding. And then using your pencil again, poke the wadding in, making sure it goes up into the points of the stars. Now you can pack this as tightly or as loosely as you want. I'm going for not too floppy, but certainly not too firm. Stuff the points that are sewn first, then the middle of the star, and finally work your way along the last point. And this is the absolute most fiddly bit of this job, is trying to hold the stuffing in place and sew it up at the same time. Don't try to work with too big lumps of wadding, because it will just be counterproductive and take you forever, and it'll be lumpy and bumpy. Make sure it's out of the way of your sewing as much as you can possibly get it, and then carry on sewing. And don't worry if it's not completely full. Nobody's going to stop a galloping horse to check out that all the points on your star on your Christmas tree are fully packed. If they do, well, they've really got nothing better to do with their time. Seal it off by doing a double stitch, which is just one stitch over the top of the other. And then what I do is poke the needle in, come right through as far as you can and out the other side. And then gently pull and snip as close as you can to the fabric. If I show you there, gently pull, snip, and then that end immediately disappears into the star, and then you need to squidge it about a bit. Give it a good squidgy, get everything in the right place. Got some stuffing sticking out there, so I'm just going to chop it off. Now you can spend some time fraying the edges of this if you want to. I like the frayed look, so I may well spend some time doing that. I won't do it now. But this is the sort of thing when you finished your crafting and you're settling down perhaps in the evening to watch some TV and think, I think I'll do a bit of fraying. And then you can fray bits of it. I don't want too much fraying, so I'll chop the extra bits off like that. And it's just a matter of pulling the ends. Some sides will fray easier than others. It all depends which way the grain on the fabric is running. And if you've got a particularly stubborn bit, get your pokey thingy. You can go in just a tiny bit in from the edge and see how much easier that is to fray things. And then you can go in then and trim a little bit of the edges off in case, like me, you've ended up with some really radical fluffy bits. I'm going to get a button. I've got this bag of Christmas buttons. So I could use red, or I could use green, or I could use clear with silver in. I think I prefer the red. I know it's a lot of red, but I like it. So I'm going for it. So I want a red button for one side. I definitely put too much cotton on this, didn't I? Make sure you got your point at the top. Put your button in place. I like to put mine so the lines, the two dots are running horizontal. Poke through and look at your star and make sure it's coming through straight. It is so easy to wander off and come out at completely the wrong place. Like that. Don't put it all the way through another button, back into the other button, through your star, out through the other side, through the button, pull tight, and that button will come in nice and tight. See, a bit twisted, yeah, make sure it's not twisted, and pull. Then you can tie a knot, hold it in place, tie another knot, and you've got yourself a little bit of a padded star now. I'm going to try tying a bow, see what that looks like. Trim the ends if you want to. If you want to leave them dangling unevenly, that's up to you. Like that. And now we just need a hanger on the top. Come through the back, into the centre of the wadding, up to the little point. Leave a little bit sticking out there. Put one little stitch where the cotton is coming out of your ornament, just to give it a little bit of a seal. Decide how long you want your hanger. Then do another little stitch. And then, just to be extra sure, another little stitch. I'm very overly protective when it comes to sealing my sewing. Then back into the heart and staying on the inside where the wadding is. Come out a bit lower. Pull the end until it's a bit tight and snip. And there goes the end. And the bit right from the start, pull it until it's taut. Slip it near, and there it goes, and they've disappeared. Now I think I prefer this without the bow. I like the ends hanging down like that. Yep, I'm going for that. Oh, I think that's lovely, and it's going to look beautiful on your Christmas tree. that last video, I think we need something super quick to get us on our way. And this is the ornament if you want super quick. I've got a bauble. It hasn't even got an ending, but that doesn't matter. And I've got a gold Christmas tree with lots of fluff stuck to it. Unwind the little stand off the bottom of the Christmas tree. You're going to take your bauble. My glue gun is never on when I want it. I keep forgetting. So I've turned my glue gun on now. And while that's heating up, clear some of the space here, I've got this metallic cord and I'm going to cut myself a hanging loop. About that big. I'm going to put this little piece of glittery ribbon around the middle of this bauble. I think it'll look nice. A little bit of hot glue. Then I'm going to add a little bit of glue in 2 or 3 places, otherwise it'll slump. And you can't be doing with ribbon slump on your decorations. Now get your tree, put some glue on the end, then poke it in the hole, like that. Give it a couple of seconds to set, and also while it's setting, make sure it's straight. It's very easy to get these a little bit wonky. I'm going to add a little bit more glue, I think. Now glue on your hanger, then glue something on the top of your tree. You've got yourself a lovely gold ornament. Look at that. And all that took hardly any time at all and was such fun to do. Sometimes you have to refluff your tree because they can get a bit squashed and your branches won't be facing the right direction. But that doesn't take too long. Just takes a bit of patience. There we go. Another one done. If you're enjoying this video, then please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe because I've got lots more videos coming out. Right, back to crafting. For this craft, I'm using twigs from this. You don't need to, you can use any twigs, but I find this, I get it from the pound shop, and I imagine you can get it from dollar store, other places like that. And you just take the wire off and you've got lots and lots of fairly regular, not completely, fairly regular sticks. So this is what you get. And I've chopped some up here already. Now you can see I've cut an angle on these. These are my 2 long ones. Oh, I suppose you'd like to know how long they are. I guessed. 4 inches, look at that. How's that for efficient? And then I cut one that is going to be just under 3 inches. And one that is about 1 3/4 inches. I cut an angle on these and I'll show you how I do that. You don't need to do this. I just think it neatens it a bit. I've got one of these things and I can't be bothered set it. So I just hold it at the angle I want it to be. You can actually set these to be the right angle. And then chop. You've got yourself a nice little angle. First thing to do is to glue the top together. And by angling these, they'll just be a little bit neater, like that. Hold them to the glue sets, which I would imagine is going to be much faster in December than it is here in July, even though it's really cold. This is the coldest July I can remember so far. I'm going to trim a bit off this bottom one, because it's a bit long. It is so much easier if you're an efficient person and you measure first. I'm not. So there we go, I've trimmed that down and I'm going to glue both sides onto it. It needs to go down a bit, doesn't it? I've got a shorter one. And that I haven't got to worry, I can put that wherever it fits. So that's going to go about there. Next, put a hanger on the top, so get yourself some twine or whatever you like. I'm using twine. You can use ribbon if you want to. And then glue it to the back as near to the top as you can. You'll hide that with a star. It's easier to hang it straight if it goes nearer the top. I've just realised my wooden star is far too big. I can't use that. So I'm not going to use that. I think I'll use this gold star. A blob of hot glue. Pop pop that on the top. And it completely hides the join where you put your hanger. Then I've got a few beads and a little bit of, this is an old Christmas tree leg branch, not a leg, is it? Trim them off. You haven't got to do this. This is completely optional. I just think they look neater when you trim them. And it's a little bit more in keeping with the size of the ornament too, because otherwise they're a little bit over the top. They can virtually hide your tree. The only thing with this, it does have a side effect, and that is lots of cleaning afterwards. So glue these in a pleasing fashion, however you like them to be. Those berries are a bit big. I need smaller berries. That's a better size. Look at that. It's really quick, really easy, and very effective, I think. Oh, I enjoyed making that, but no time to stop. We've got more Christmas decorations to make. I'm going to use some wooden blocks, some tumbling blocks. You haven't got to use tumbling blocks, but I am going to use these in case you haven't got any other access to any sort of wood. So I can show you how easy it is to just make yourself little mini planks out of tumbling blocks. You can put wood glue on if you want to be extremely efficient. I'm going to just go for a little bit of hot glue. You don't need a lot, otherwise they won't stick together very tightly. You'll have big gaps. Join 3 together. Try to keep them as flat as you can. And then you're ready to be working with a little wooden block. I've got some paper here from just a Christmas paper book. I'm going to put some, what is this? This is Scotch glue stick. Stick it on. Push it down hard. And then cut around the outside with a craft knife. Rub the end with a sanding block, and then you're going to need a hanger. And just to hide the knot, a little blob of glue and a little bow, stick it in place. Now before you do that, I meant to and I forgot, get some ink if you want to. You don't have to do this, it's completely optional. Just put a little bit of aging around the outside. I just think it adds an extra dimension. You could use red if you wanted to, or even green, I suppose. Would look just as good. I quite fancy putting some brown on. And you can see, because I put the bow on, I've got to just shove it out of the way so that I can reach to put some staining on. It's not impossible, just fiddly. And I've got this Merry Christmas that I had in a pack. I think it's supposed to be off the top of a cake. But we're not going to use it for the top of a cake, because I like to use things for different reasons than they were invented. It's always a bit of fun. Chop the legs off because I'm not poking it into a cake. Glue it onto my block. This one's going at an angle. 2 reasons, because I love a jaunty angle, and 2, because it doesn't fit unless I put it at a jaunty angle. I'm going to add a little bell there, just to add a little bit of interest. Like that. And there you go. Done. That was quick, that was easy, and I think it's very effective. And if you want to, you can use brown stain all around the edge. I'll tell you what, I'll do that, and then you can see what it looks like. Just get your stain out. And again, you can do this with a felt pen or a marker pen if you wanted to. Put it all around like that. And then it matches in with the stain. Oh, let's do the back as well. Why not? In for a penny, in for a pound. What do you say in America? Can you say that? Do you say in for a cent, in for a dollar? Or do you say something completely different? And there we go. It's almost country, but it's a bit too glam for country really, isn't it? I love it. Right, next decoration coming up. popular, so I thought I'd make a gnome out of another one of my pine cones. So I'm only going to do a few steps and it'll look like a gnome. This piece of fabric will go round with an overlap the top of the pine cone. Pick which side you want to be the front, put it face down, and then glue your piece of fabric onto the pine cone as well as you can. It's very difficult with a pine cone. And then glue it to itself, like that. Decide how long you want the hat to be. Mine is far too long, so I'm going to snip along there. Add a little bit of glue in places around the top to make sure that it is sticking, because it is notoriously difficult to stick things to a pine cone. It's easy to stick your glue gun to your piece of card. I've got a piece of card there to stop all the glue sticking to my desk. It doesn't stop it all, but it stops some. I was going to do a hat down like that, but I think I'm going to leave it up, so I'm going to cut some more off because it's too long. Bind it together at the top with a pipe cleaner. I love my pipe cleaners. It's amazing what you can do with a pipe cleaner. And now our gnome needs a nose. Using a fluffy pom-pom, blob of glue. Poke it up just inside like that, so it looks like his nose is sticking out. Now that's a bit of a boring hat. We need to do something with it. So I've got a foam glitter sheet. I love this. I'm going to draw a line 1 centimetre away from the edge, out with my pinking shears, and cut up the line. Out with the hot glue, and just above the level of the bottom of the hat I'm going to start gluing on this little bit of trim. Out with the hanger. It is amazing how much twine I get through. One of those things. I never thought I'd use a lot of twine when I started crafting, but I use unbelievable amounts. Now pop the twine into the centre of the hat with the blob of glue. Poke it in. The last thing we need to do is cover the pipe cleaner. And for this I'm getting out my pinking shears again and cutting close to the edge I just cut. Don't need a lot of it. That'll do. And I'm going to glue this trim around the top. I think I'll make it even thinner. It's a bit bulky. Although he's supposed to be like a woodland gnome, you could actually get away with having that as a St. Patrick's Day gnome, couldn't you? I love him. He's so humorous. He's just witty and whimsical. Not at all sensible, but a bit of fun. Decoration, get yourself some fluffy yarn and a piece of card. This card is about 2.5 to 3 inches long, and then wrap your yarn round and around without stretching it. I'm going to err on the side of too much rather than not enough. About there, chop it off, and to make sure it covers the bottom of this cardboard triangle to there. And then I'm going to run some hot glue along this. I've never tried this before. Trying this is a cheat's way of doing this really quickly, so it could go well, it might be a disaster. Put that in place there. Not going to be sticking to all of the yarn, so I'm going to come across the top as well and see if that will help to make more of the yarn get attached to the piece of cardboard. And using my finger protector, I'm just going to wudge that about a bit. Make sure it's going through as much as possible. Now take my scissors and trim along the bottom of the piece of card to cut the yarn. And now we find all the yarn goes poof and lands on the floor. Oh no, it's sticking, it worked. If you're sensible, you'll do this first. I didn't. So I go to pop my triangle there and draw around it. And then cut it out. Glue this onto the top of my piece of cardboard. Like that. And this is what we're left with. So first thing I need to do really is trim this gnome's beard. It's a bit of a mess. Now we need a belt to go around the hat, or a strap. Make it look like Santa. Take a square slightly wider than the belt, fold it in half and cut a little square out of the middle. I'm going to glue this little band on the hat. Make sure I glued right to the end. Trim it off. Then glue the gold bit halfway across so it looks like it's a buckle. This gnome seems to get messier every time I put him down. I'm not quite sure why. I think this yarn is very stretchy and springy. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Now the gnome needs a nose and I'm going to use a silly nose. I know gnomes' noses are usually very sensible, but I'm going to use this check one. I just think it looks amusing. If you want to, you can cover the back. I'm not going to because this is only for me, but if you're going to try selling something like this, you really do need to tidy up the backs of your items. And then get a pom-pom. Glue it firmly onto the top of the hat. There. And I get the feeling that I'm going to be trimming this beard for hours because it just seems to keep appearing from nowhere. I don't know what's going on. I think, oh, that's nice and smooth, and then it just isn't anymore. Look, it's happened again. I just moved my hands and there's another bit hanging down. Cute. So there he is. That is very cute. It was very simple to make and it's very eye-catching. I love it. Oh, let me know if you're going to make one of these. I just love him.
It's cold outside, but the fire keeps us warm.
For this craft, I'm going to take one of these, which is actually for making dots on your paint, or with your paint, and 2 pipe cleaners. I'm going to take the 2 pipe cleaners and twist them 3 times. Pop this between the wires and then twist 3 times again. You'll know you've twisted 3 times because you want the colours to alternate back and forth. So you can see there we got red and then silver. Take your little stick thing out. You can use a stick, you can use your finger. It's a bit difficult, but you can use your finger. Around 3 times, pull it out. And can you see there? You've got silver that side, and red the other. Now I have used these pipe cleaners before and they're going a bit bold. Ignore that. So pop your little stick, whatever you're using, in the middle, twist 3 times, pull it out, and just continue all the way around until you are virtually at the end of the pipe cleaners, but not pushing it too close because you need to seal the top.
The first for you and me. Another year went by, but the difference this time is that ever since July,
now you've got this effect. Curve it around till the tops meet and then put the one end right under and over so you've sealed the top of your circle, and make sure it is a nice circle. Push it down onto the desk to make sure it's nice and flat. You can leave those sticking up like that if you want to, or you can trim them off. All we need is a little embellishment on the top. I'm going to use these beads that are supposed to look like Christmas lights. I think they do a very convincing job and they're flat backed, so they're much easier to attach. Put a red one going in that direction. And a silver one, yep, you guessed it, going in the other direction. Like that. Now, do I like those bits sticking up? No, I don't. I'm going to take them off. Don't be afraid to change your mind when you're crafting. I do it all the time. I'm using a bit of red twine and glue it to the back. Simple as that. And there you've got a gorgeous little wreath. Now you can use any colour pipe cleaners. You can just use the chenille ones. You don't have to use glittery ones. They're so easy to make. You can change the colour. You can change the embellishment. Whatever you fancy. Dead easy. A lot of fun. And you can have children to help you out doing these so easily. And if you can get these for paint dabbers, they are good. But remember, you can use anything. Even a very fat pen.
It's cold outside, but the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night underneath the mistletoe. And I've gotten you a present that I put under the tree. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me.
I'm going to use this little bottle with a cork in. I'm going to use this Christmas tree. I'm going to use this red. It's a bit of potpourri and it's broken, but that doesn't matter. First thing I'm going to do is fill this jar with some interesting bits and pieces. So I thought I could pop at least one of these in. I'm hoping to get at least 2 in. We'll find out now. Yep, a tiny bit of Epsom salts to look a little bit like snow. Pop the lid back on. Give it a shake about. It's just supposed to look a little bit random, and I think it does that. Just makes you think. It thinks of snow and red flowers. So now take your Christmas tree, chop the bottom off. Not too close. Bit of hot glue. And poke it into the cork. Pop it into the top of the jar. Now we need a red twine hanger. Glue that to the top of the tree. I've pulled the top off this little bit here, and then gluing that into position. It should cover the knot a little bit. Like that. And a couple of little berries over the top of the end. Like that. And look at that. You can put some festive greenery in the bottom. You can just put some snow and nothing else. Perhaps a little character, something like that. But I think that's lovely, and I love the colour scheme. Well, what is there to dislike about winter green, red and white? Always a perfect combination. This last craft is just a little bit of fun, but to show you how easy you can come up with Christmas decorations. I've got this Christmas hat. It's supposed to go on the top of a wine bottle, I think. And if you add a Christmas hat to just about anything, you can turn it into a Christmas decoration. I mean, look how festive that ball of string looks now. If you had your string on your desk, pop a hat on it, and it just looks fun. I've got an owl, and now I've got a Christmas owl. I've got a tree. Stick a hat on it. Look at that. But I'm not going to do any of those. I'm going to use a bauble. I'm going to take the end off because I always keep these. They're great for making new ends on things for Christmas decorations. And then a little bit of hot glue. On with the hanger, and look at that, a pretty instant decoration. So if ever you see these little Christmas hats in shops, and especially after Christmas they reduce them really cheaply, you can convert almost anything into a Christmas decoration. Right, let's go see what this looks like hanging up. Oh, I enjoyed that. Most of those crafts are so fast, you can whip them up in 5 minutes and they're done and they look so impressive. You can alter them up a little bit, change the colours, change what you use, change the embellishments, and you will have something completely individual to you. Or you can copy what I've made. Either way, I'm sure you'll be pleased with the results. Then don't forget to give me a thumbs up before you go, and if you haven't subscribed already, then don't forget to subscribe, because I really do have such a lot of different crafts coming up over the for the rest of the year, next year and beyond. I'll see you all next time, but until then, don't forget, happy crafting and have fun. Bye.